Welcome back. We will continue now with the clicking on the moles here. And as you can see, when we click on the first box, the hits and misses are correctly updated. Let's see, let's try to get another hit. We have 4 right now. 5, and I'm missing. But when I click on the other two, nothing happens. Now, why is that? Well, we know that we have to register a click event. So we say when this box gets clicked, run some function. And that is actually done right here. So when the program first runs, we say, okay, get me the mole1 element, and on the click event, call the function mole_onClick. And that's the function here. But as you can see, we only created the event for the mole1. What about the mole 2 and 3? Well, why don't we do that? Why don't we say copy this, paste, and say 2 and 3. And if we refresh this here, look, we're getting clicks everywhere. Look, I'm miss, etc. So that seems to be working. So go ahead and add these 2 lines and come back when you are finished. So that works. So let's see. Let me maybe refresh, make this window a little bit smaller. Okay, start. Okay, so I'm going to be clicking here. I'm getting misses and I'm getting hits. So this hits 3, and if I click here, it's saying hits 4, but I just clicked here when there was no mole. Let's see. Oh, now there was a mole, so now it hits 5, and I'm going to click here where the mole is in some other box. Come on, there we go. Ooh, I got the hit, didn't I? Okay, so what's going on? It doesn't seem to be working right, like it's not registering the hits correctly. It seems that as long as there's a mole somewhere and I click, it registers a hit. So I don't have to click the mole, I just have to click anywhere where there's a mole. Why is that? So let's see, what happens when you click a mole? Well, that's this function right here. So what do? We check if the mole is visible, then we register a hit, or we add 1 point to the hits. Well, that's not going to work, because we don't only want to check if the mole is visible, we also want to check that we click the right box. But that's a bit of a problem, because as you can see, for each of the boxes, we actually end up calling the same function. So no matter where I click, I'm going to have the same function. So this is not going to be good, because I don't know which box I clicked. So, well, let's think about it. Maybe I should have a different function for every box that I click. So when I click first box, I would call mole_click1, maybe second mole_click2, and 3. And maybe what I'll do is I'll rename this to mole1. So now when the first box gets clicked, then this function will get called. And I'm going to copy this function, and let me just get rid of this here. I'm going to copy this function. So I'm going to go like this, and copy, and paste, and paste. And I'm going to call this 2, call this 3. Now, if you're getting already kind of like, that doesn't sound right, I've always been saying that we shouldn't be copying code, well, you're probably on the right path. But let's just continue with this. So now we actually have a different function for different box clicks. So if that's the case, I know that if I'm in this one, that means the first box got clicked. So what if I said, if the mole is visible and the mole is in box 1, then score a hit. Now, we actually do have that, right? If you scroll down a little bit, we get this box number. So when we show the mole, we get this random box number. So I actually know in which box the mole is in. If it's 0, then I know that it's in box 1, and so on. So maybe I'll take this and I'll copy this variable. And I want to say this. If the mole is visible and the box number is 0, only then we consider this to be a hit. Does that look about right? I think so. The only problem is that we get this little underscore here and it doesn't understand AND. And the reason why is because the code for AND is 2 times the ampersand sign. So this means AND. So let's just go to the whiteboard. Remember how we had these lights? And let's see. Maybe what we should have is something like, remember how we had the yellow light? Or let's just maybe go scroll up. Whoops, I didn't want to do that. Here. We said, if the light is yellow, then start stopping. Well, in reality, as the drivers will know, what you want to do is say, if light is yellow and I can stop. If it's yellow and I can stop safely, then stop. If I cannot stop safely, then I actually go. So in code, the AND would be like this. Else if light is yellow and can stop, then do something. So this is our AND. So I hope this is understandable. So we are in mole click 1, which means we know that the first box got clicked. So we're saying if the mole is visible and the box number that the mole is visible is 0, well, that means we scored a hit. So that sounds good. So that's pretty cool. If the mole is not visible or it's in the wrong box, then you missed, right? Cool. So in fact, I can go in here and I can say, you know what, let me copy this. Copy. And I want to change this to box 1 and this to box 2. I'm going to save it. And well, this maybe will work. So let me go in here and let me refresh. And click start and let me see. That's a miss, cool. Oh, that's a miss too. So the mole is here. I'm going to try to click when the mole is available, appearing, but in a different box. Oh, I only registered misses. Okay, so at least I'm getting the misses wrong. Let's see if I can get the hit. That was missed. I don't know if that was a hit. 3. So look, hits 3. Let's get a 4th one. Yes. And it's this here. I think this may be working. But we have all this repeat code, and repeat code is problematic. So let me just show you. You know what? I don't like the hits and the misses to be so close together. I mean, that's like hard to see. So you know, let me just go something like this, and maybe I'll put like this, and maybe like that. I don't know. Maybe this will look pretty. And save it, and I come back here, refresh, and oh, come on. I want to hit this here, so I want to show you something. Come on, mole, up here. Oh no, it doesn't want to come up here. It's always like this. Ah, okay, good. I have this display. It's pretty ugly, but let me just illustrate the point. So, okay, I got this new look, but then I tried to hit here, and look, it reverted. It's no longer this nicely spaced. Now, why is that? You can probably spot it. It's because when we clicked on the first box, well, then we displayed the score this way. But when we clicked on the second box, then we displayed the score without this new and beautiful formatting. So this is one of the many problems with duplicate code. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, this works, but I think it's ugly. And when code is ugly, that's a sign that probably there's a better way of doing this. So as you can see, I mean, almost everything is the same here and here. It's the same for everything except this box number, right? It's this box thing. And that's because we have different function for every click, every box click. Well, I want to show you that we can actually get it done with one box click. This is why I didn't ask you to implement this, because there's no point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to change this to be mol on click. And I'm going to, again, have each of the boxes execute the same function, this one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put here something called event. And when I do that in the function, that means I kind of declared a variable here. When this function gets called, the system will populate this variable, this event variable, with a bunch of information describing the event that this function is responding to. So for example, when I click here, right, there's a bunch of things that happened. One is, well, the system knows which box I clicked. It also knows where my cursor was. And all of that information actually will be sent to us in the event variable. And let me show you that. Let me save. Oops, wrong one. Oops. Come on, go away. Save. Let me refresh this here. And actually, let me go large screen. F12. And let's put a breakpoint here. Okay, so let's just click here. So when it's click here, okay, so we are now in this on click, mol click event or function, and we have this variable called event. Now remember how we had these variables like hits, is mol visible, number of misses. Here we had a variable that had a reference to the timer. Here is the box number, etc. Well, this is also a variable, but if I look what's inside, well, there's a lot of stuff inside. If I look what's inside, for example, the hits variable, I get a simple 0, right? If I look at, for example, what's inside the box number, it says 1. And the timer is also a number. The visibility is true or false. But this event is a lot of stuff. So this event is a variable that we call a object. And let me explain what objects are. So before I go further, see, I can go here in the console and I can actually type in any JavaScript I want. So if I say hits, it will actually show me the value of hits. Okay, I can say alert and hi, and it actually will alert. So I can actually, in this console, type any JavaScript command I want. So if I say hits, it says value is 0. If I say misses, is it misses or miss? Miss, right? It's telling me value 0. So I'm looking at all of, sorry, scroll too much. Look at all these variables. But if I type event, it's like this big thing, and I can actually expand it and see all of these values. So let me explain with the whiteboard what this is. So when I say var x equals to 1, then x is just basically this integer 1. That's all it is. If I say var message equals hello there, then this variable called message, and I'm going to highlight the variable names. This is a variable name. It's just this. But I can actually create an object. If I say var, and I say object, or object, let's just say, and I say equals, and then inside the brackets, I say something like name equals, actually, you know what? I'm going to do something better. Instead of object, I'm going to say var, and I'm going to create a variable called person. Now, if I have a variable called person, well, what about the person? Is it a person's name, height, gender? Like, what is it? Well, actually, if I create a person, I do this by opening this squiggly brackets, and I say name is, say, Greg. Okay, I can say gender is male. Height is, 180 centimeters or something like that. And then I close this. What happened is that I created a like a big variable. We call it an object. And then when you want to get something about this person, you say this. You say person dot name. And this will actually display Greg. So let me try to do that in code. Actually, I'm not sure if I can do this here in console. Let's try it out. I'm going to try this out. Var person equals, let's see if I can do that. Name equals, oh, let's work. No, okay. So we're not going to do this here. We're going to do it actually in code. Let me just go here. So let me do this at the very beginning. I'll say var person, and let me see if I remember the syntax. Okay, so I actually had to look up the syntax for it. So we do it like this: person is. So the same thing as we say is visible, and we say assign to it a value of false. So assign to it an object. I write the object by using these kind of brackets. So what should the object have? Well, what are the properties of person? Well, a person is a name, and it's like this name, and it's Greg. And height, yes, a person will have a height, 180 centimeters. Gender, male. And, well, let's just leave it at that. I'll put a semicolon. So let's actually run this and see what happens. So let's come here, let's refresh. And as you can see, there is this, this definition here. So let me put a breakpoint here, and let's run, and then let's see what's actually inside this variable called person. Okay, so let's see. If I go here to the console and I type in person, look, it's already telling me, it's showing me what's inside. If I click enter, it's telling me that it's an object. That's how it looks. If I expand it here, it says, aha, this object, this person object has a gender, height, and name. And I can, if I want to access a particular property of this object, I simply say person dot say name. And now I actually just get the name. I can change it. I can say person dot name, change it to, so assign a new value, Bobster. I don't know why that, but let's go. Okay. And if I say person again, as you can see, the name is Bobster. So these are objects in JavaScript. Now we're going to do a lot more we're going to work with those a lot more, but I just wanted to show what this is, so that when we look at this event object, it won't look so strange. So let's now go and look at this event object. Let's put a breakpoint here, and we're going to run. Okay, let me click here somehow. Let me clear this. So here we are, and we have this event. As you can see, it's an object with a lot of properties. So let me actually go here and type in event and explore its properties. So some of these things I will understand, some of them I will not. So for example, I see something called client X, client Y. This is actually, I believe, the location of the mouse exactly on the screen when it got clicked. So imagine if we're making a kind of a game where it will we have to click to actually destroy some kind of a minefield or something. Well, this actually could help because we know where we clicked. There's other things like, for example, what clicked? Was it maybe if it's on a phone, maybe a person tapped it with a finger, or in this case, it was a mouse that clicked it. What type of event it was? Actually, there's a type, and it says, oh, this is a click event. But a thing that we care about most is something called target. Okay, look at that, target. If I move your mouse over, look what it says. Div pound mol1. This means div with an ID 1 and a class mol. Is that our div? Let's go back here. Look, div with ID 1, class mol. So it's telling us that, hey, you clicked this particular div. And if I put my mouse over, you see it's actually even here on this side highlighting in yellow which element this is. Let's click a different one. Now let's click at the bottom one. Okay, so I'm going to clear this. I'm going to put event, expand it, and where's target? Target right here. Okay, div mol3 of class mol, and it highlights this. So what I would like you to do is I would like you to play around with this a little bit. So first thing is, I would like you to, we're not going to have this, I'm going to remove this. I would like to, I believe you already have this done. So now all I want you to do is write the word event here. It actually could be anything. It could be Booga, okay? It's just, you're just giving this a name to this variable. It could be anything you want, but by convention, we say event because, well, this is an object that represents the event that fired. So we call it event. So go ahead, add this event, and then come back when you're done. And then I'll show you, actually just add it in and then come back when you're done and I'll show you how to debug. Okay, so now I want you to go into your game, refresh, open the developer tools, that's F12. Again, F12 toggles it, closes and opens. Then go to sources, then choose one.html, find your click event with the event object, put a breakpoint here, and then click somewhere. And when you click, go into the console and type in event. Expand it and examine the properties and see that you can select this target element, and it should select the element correctly in the browser in here. And you can actually do one more thing. You can simply say event.target. And when you do that, you actually just have dotted div and you see everything about it. So go ahead, do that, and come back when you're done. Okay, I'm going to close the developer tools and let's get back to this. So what can we do with this? Well, in this function, we now have this event that gives us it gives us a reference to the actual div that was clicked. So we could probably figure out, we could say, look, if the ID of that element is 1, that means that the box number should be 0. And if ID is 2, that means the box should be 1. So we could do something like that. We could change this if statement, and rather than hard coding the box, we could do something like, if the element is mol1, that means that the box should be 0. If it's mol2, that means the box should be 1. But, something basically like this. But there's a better way, actually, and much simpler. So why don't we do that? So let's look at this. If the mol is in the box, is there something unique about the box? Think about the inner text of the box. If there is a mol, what would the inner text be? The inner text would have the word mol in it. And if there is no mol in the box that was clicked, then the inner text would be empty. So could we not do this event dot target dot inner text equals mol? So we're saying this is the event that the object represents the event. Inside the event, there's something called target, and that target actually references one of those divs. And then we say, okay, let's look at inner text. Let's see what text it has. If the text inside is mol, well then it's a hit. Sounds about right. Let's try it out. Missed. Success. 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 Well, I dare say I think it's working. What if I miss? Do I get a miss? Yep. I'm getting misses. I think this is working. Why don't we debug it and see how it works? So here is our function that gets fired when we click. So I'm going to put a breakpoint here and let me click. I clicked. All right, so the event, if I move my mouse over the event, that's the event. Target, oh, look, it shows me on the left. You see, it even tells me what it is. It's the HTML elements. Why don't I take this and I'm gonna go to console here, and I'm going to put like this. Guess what? It has the mol in it. So let's see. Event dot target dot inner text is mol. So therefore, I believe this should say true. And it does. The inner text does indeed have the text mol. Alrighty. So we got it. So let me close this. Let me come back here. So we're not using this variable isMolVisible anymore, are we? Is it used anywhere? So let me highlight this. Where is this used? Well, it's used, we're setting it to true and we're setting it to false, but we're not actually doing anything with it. We no longer need this. So actually, before we go there, go ahead and implement this. So you just have to change the if to be like that. And come back when you're done. Make sure you actually test it and make sure it's looking good to you. Come back when you're done. All right. Well, let's also maybe remove anywhere there is this isMolVisible. So it's here. It's in 3 places. And it's here. remove, and it's here. In general, it is a good practice to not keep code which does not do anything, because code that does not do anything is only there to confuse you. So let me save and let me come back here and make sure it's still things are working. Okay, cool. Oh, missed. Okay, hit, missed, hit. Okay, it seems to be working. I dare say that we have a rudimentary game. So I will see you in the next video.